What up, y'all? Alright, so I figured out what was going on. My phone is overheating, so we'll just do it like this for a minute. And I'm just going to keep rolling. And yeah, so I was saying, it's like a gun realizing that it's a gun. You know, it knows it can shoot, it knows it can reload and all this stuff, but like, still kind of hmm, becoming aware of like, well, you might not want to aim it, you know, wave it around and point it at people and all this kind of stuff, or like what you can do, the kind of harm you can do, or just how you can put food on the table, that kind of thing. Um, yeah, so I'm figuring it out. I'm bringing something that was really buried in my subconscious to the forefront, and it's challenging. It's challenging. I'm kind of just, it's like a trial and error type thing. Um, and really leaning on it, versus just saving it for certain occasions or certain situations, or it's just like how I play lacrosse or whatever the case may be. It's like, no, this is a 24/7 thing, you know. Um, all the dreams that I've had throughout my life where I've seen angels fighting, or I find myself in just really bizarre situations. Um, Talking to people, or they tell me like I shouldn't be here or whatever, um, or I have a dream where I'm fighting people in my dream, and then it goes from uh, I'm fighting a guy that looks like a CIA person or whatever, just a guy in a suit, I'm fighting a suit, to I'm in this like weird psychedelic like clown bubble thing, and the people are telling me that we're gonna fight, but they're going to turn out the lights, and there's balloons filled with sound. And if you don't know, sound and light, it's all on the same spectrum. It's just different parts of the spectrum. And so I'm immediately in my mind, I'm like, oh well, I'll still be able to see. And I heard the voices of these other people saying, oh, he can see us. And that's when I woke up, and putting all of this stuff together, and realizing like what's been going on. And these people, it looks like a little mustache. It's hilarious. uh, so not only it's not like I've just been left to go through life and nobody's fucking with me, and the and I just get time to, there's no pressure or anything like that to figure it out, and I don't have people gaslighting me, telling me that this stuff's not real and all this kind of stuff. Um, no, I think that's why it had to happen the way that it did, because I was not really recognizing it, and I was in harm's way, and it did, like, the universe totally saved my ass. My archangels, I don't know exactly where to attribute it other than divine intervention, because I woke up from a dream to be guided to where I woke up from a dream where I saw my own death, and I was rattled, and I felt like I woke up from a spell. I don't know how else to put it to you. My body changed. Like, I had more energy than I normally would have, um, just because the situation that I was in was fucking draining me. And it wasn't my children. It wasn't my children at all. It was the people that I was. It was the person that I was around, the person that I was depending on, and the people that I was depending on. I just felt, yeah, I just, it was rough, man. And so when I woke up from my dream, and I started getting guided to watch tarot, to learn and listen to these beautiful people talking, telling me about myself, um, it was really an eye opener. And so, yeah, to hear people talking about what my gifts are and how powerful I am and yada yada yada, it's just kind of funny to me because it doesn't, it's like I want to be there, like I want to be in touch and in full control, it's like the car's moving and I've got half my ass in the seat. I'm trying to get in the seat in the car, you know what I mean, and close the door and get control of the vehicle. I mean, it's definitely getting easier. It's getting better, but I would be remiss to say that the only evidence that I have really is that there's psychic and there's psychic people out there who are telling my story. No, I don't expect any of these people to come forward and tell me the truth. In my family members, anybody who's doing these things, and I don't expect they're going to deny it to the grave probably, and unless they're confronted with by somebody else who's been watching, and I believe that to be the case. I don't think my situation has gone unnoticed because they try to throw me under the bus. They try to say, I don't know who. Again, like I'm just figuring all of this stuff out by how it resonates with me. I'm using my intuition to sift through all this information to figure out what the fuck is going on. I just want to I just want to be left alone and be around my children and be left to be a parent the way that I see fit. But these people, they don't seem to agree with that. Somehow that's a problem for them. They want to say that I'm some kind of a bad parent. I'm a toxic person. They're just projecting, you know, projecting. All the things they say about me, they're really just describing themselves. Lack of self-control, emotional outbursts, um, incapable of emotional regulation. I mean, come on. I love my children, so it definitely wasn't my children. So these people are projecting on me, and I'm pretty sure that they had all of this stuff waiting in the wings, and they tried to guide me into uh, certain situations to where they could throw this shit at me unknowingly. I mean, unbeknownst to me, like walking into a trap. And when that didn't work, pretty sure they hired a hitman. Whether it's a spiritual hitman to do work on me, to try to get me to take myself out, or actual hitman to show up at my house to take my life. And it's kind of weird because a few months ago there was somebody that showed up at my house. I was managing an apartment complex with my former partner, and randomly one day somebody showed up to the house. So somebody showed up to the apartment asking kind of random questions that we have people show up all the time asking for applications and this and that, but this one kind of felt a little funny, and I had the thought, was he here to kill me? Seemed random at the time. I didn't really think much of it. I wasn't very aware of my abilities. I wasn't putting two and two together. But now I can sit here and tell you that, yeah, I'm pretty sure that that's what happened. That's what happened. I had that thought for a reason. My mind doesn't naturally just go to people who are trying to kill me. I don't think that way. So I must be doing something right, or there must be something really either special about me or damning about what these people are hiding or trying to keep from me, or both. You know, I'm really curious. My curiosity is piqued. But I can tell you one thing for sure. Um, I'm not going to be stopped by these people. All right. The only way I'm going to stop is if I decide to stop, and I'm not. I'm not doing that anytime soon. Regardless of how challenging it's been to walk away from my beautiful children and leave them with a psycho, somebody who lets people come into the apartment who have physically attacked me, and she lets them in the house, and she lets them around my children. I've had to leave my children with that kind of a person to put my faith in, put my money where my mouth is, so to speak. And so it's really, this whole thing has really been fascinating. It's been mind blowing, and it's been quite a learning curve to bring it all up to speed. And it's kind of interesting how my area of study in international relations and comparative politics has prepared me, not just my degree and the material that I learned in school, but my focus on the occult and my focus on looking into all these dark corners of corruption and satanic ritual abuse, and hearing stories of people who have gone through MK Ultra and realized that they were part of a mind control experiment. I mean, holy shit, man. Holy shit. The things that people do to each other. But it's not everybody. And that's really the big thing, is that that's my big takeaway, is it's a really small group of people. It's a trickle down, it's a small group of people at the top who try to who pull this shit off, and they treat people this way. And that seems to send the message that if you're below that, the top, then you can treat people that way. It's dysfunction from top to bottom. And again, I don't think it's everybody, but I definitely think that it's more people than anybody really wants to admit. But you don't know what you don't know. And so when I had this dream and I woke up and I started putting all of this stuff together, and I started realizing that there's clearly, obviously toxic people. And now I'm at the point where, you know, if you're not a ride or die mofo, you know what I mean? And you haven't decided in your mind that you're about you're about something, then you're susceptible to being taken over. You can call it the devil, demonic energies, or whatever. You're susceptible to some kind of work. And so, on that note, if you find yourself constantly getting into petty arguments with people and they're asking you stupid questions that don't make any sense and they're not listening to your answer, it's like they're asking you questions just to argue with you, you know, then maybe you're at that place too. And you might just have to keep walking, because there's no amount of conversating that's going to change these people. They just have to learn. And that brings me to another point. You know, don't feel bad for these people that you leave behind. You can love them from a distance, but don't feel bad for them, because this is evolution. All right? It's evolution. Just like how an egg, if it hatches and it breaks from the inside out, you get new life. But if it breaks from the outside in, you got an omelet. And so, same thing with people. These people, no matter how much pain they're in, or what they're going through, or how much you care about them, if they don't make the decision to be better and improve themselves or their situation, or take control of their mind, or live intentionally, there's not really a lot you can do for them. No amount of help is going to save that person. All right? They have to experience it, and that's what we're here to do. So, if you're at the place in your life right now in your journey where where you're the person that's got to cut people off, you got to pull out your sword and start chopping fools out of your life, you know it's not an easy thing to do, but I'm telling you, you're evolved. You're evolving. You're moving the human species along the path of evolution. Okay, so be proud of yourself for that, because once you start doing that, there's no going back. All right, you can't start doing that and then regress and then become a narcissist. Like, it just doesn't work that way. You might as well not be here, because that's pretty much the same thing. So don't feel bad about it. I was feeling bad about it at first. I was having friends that I've had to cut out of my life. They had Archangel Michael on the wall, and I do believe I was guided to be there, but I was also guided to become aware that just because somebody has some shit hanging on their wall, nice pictures of Archangel Michael or whoever, that doesn't mean that they're not susceptible to the lower vibrations, and you know they won't maybe turn into an Agent Smith at any given moment. So it's just it's like the next level of discernment, I guess. Anyway, I'm going to enjoy the rest of this sunset. I love you guys, and there's definitely more to come. All right, stay up. Peace.